going. He's not got to go on. No, sorry, can't everybody angry. Look, I'm sorry I'm late. This is our third town committee of the night, but I love you. I love you so much. We left the Washington Post back in New Britain. They're driving around in circles now, so they can figure it all out. But let me just introduce myself for 5 minutes to you. I really prefer taking questions. I'm a guy that spent most of his life in and around education. First of all, I got a household filled with teenagers. That's an education. I teach a course at Bridgeport High School on how to start your own business. It's inspiring for me working with these kids, working with the teachers. Love to talk to you about that a little bit. It's a course on how to start your own business because I started up my business from scratch, and it's a business that provides telecommunications services for college campuses. We've built systems for a couple hundred colleges around the country, and I'm sort of proud of that because I like to say that we give colleges a choice. You can plug in with a Comcast, or you can have your own system. We give you a choice. And I think in politics, it's really important that we give voters a choice. You haven't had a choice in a long time in this state. And believe me, in this primary, you're going to have a good old-fashioned kitchen table debate about what type of a party we are, what we stand for, what type of a country we want, and how we get there. And that's why I'm in this debate, and that's why I'm in this race, and we're in there all the way. I can tell you when I got into this race, I thought we were going to be talking about the war in Iraq, wherever I went, and how we got into this mess, and how we get out, and who we hold accountable, and what's a reasonable exit strategy. And I'd love to talk to you about that a little more, but usually I'm just getting going on the Murph exit strategy, or even now we have the John Kerry exit strategy. Isn't that something? So that's great. And just when I'm ready to get going there, somebody says healthcare. It's really all about healthcare. We have a system that's in crisis. It's crushing small business. It's making it impossible for America to compete around the world. And people are paying more and more for health insurance. And we get less and less care. And what do we do about that? And I'm ready to talk about universal affordable health care as a basic right for all Americans. And then somebody says, that's important, but really it's all about energy independence, isn't it? I mean, my God, America, we've got to be independent of this foreign oil. Like Tom Friedman says, we're financing both sides of the war on terror. And look at global warming, look at the congestion on our highways. If we're not serious about energy independence, if we're not serious about the environment, then our country is going to be at a great disadvantage. And I'm happy to talk about that as well, but then I'm trying to think about what do all these things have in common. And I think what they have in common is Democrats want us to stand tall, be proud of our progressive values, challenge the Bush administration where they're wrong. And they're wrong on energy, they're wrong on the war in Iraq, they're wrong on health care. They want Democrats to be constructive and also firm when it comes to where we stand and clear on what we stand for. And that's what I mean to do as your Senate candidate, and I hope that's what I have the opportunity to do as your senator. Just 30 seconds, how are we doing? Look, I got into this race. We knew it was an uphill climb. I went around saying, look, I really want to have a debate. I want to hold the senator's feet to the fire. I want to challenge the Bush administration. If we have a debate, that would be wonderful. But look, we're going to win. We're going to win because we have more grassroots support from folks like you. We're going to every town committee in the state, sometimes 3 in a night. I'm introducing myself to folks. It's not good enough to say I'm not Joe and I'm against the war. I want people to know who I am and what I'm for and what we're fighting for, and what I think the Democrats ought to be fighting for. And I think that's why people want to have this debate and they want to have this choice. And as of August 8th, I think we're going to show they want to have a change. And I think we're going to show people on August 8th that the Democrats are on the march. The real Democrats are going to be proud of what we stand for, and that's 90 days before the general election. And I think 90 days before the general election, we can show the Democrats are going to win, and that's going to send a message all across the state. It's going to send a message around the country. We're going to have 3 new Democratic congressmen to come forward as we energize the Democrats and show what we stand for. Now look, I got to be frank. Not everybody in the party brass is totally enthusiastic about this race. A lot of them don't like the idea of primaries. Some of them say, Ned, don't rock the boat. But look what's going on in Washington. I just think it's high time we rock the boat. Look at some of the bills coming out of that Congress. Look at that energy bill, which even John McCain called no lobbyists left behind. Instead, Dick Cheney brought his 40 favorite energy lobbyists into his office. They closed the door, and out came a bill that offered billions of dollars of tax subsidies to ExxonMobil. They made $36 billion last year. They don't need any incentives to drill for oil. That's like incenting fish to swim. It was not a real energy policy. It had nothing to do with energy independence. And they stripped out all the conservation measures. They stripped out all the efficiency standards, all the things that we need to really help America get independent of foreign oil and deal with the environment in a serious way. That's why we ought to have this race. The other thing they tell me, and I say this wherever I go, is they say, Ned, don't jeopardize a safe seat. My response to that is that Connecticut is a progressive state, and you're not going to lose a senator. You're going to gain a Democrat. You're going to gain a Democrat. Provides a constructive alternative, stands up for our democratic values, stands up for what we believe, and that's how we're going to start winning again. And that's